So we're moving on from that. Now we're about the future of Texas sports, not the past. And the future is going to be in the SEC. And right now, the SEC is having their schedule release extravaganza, and they didn't waste any time revealing the Texas-Oklahoma schedule. I thought they would, try to bury this a little bit, try to build the drama. No building of the drama. They just told you flat out exactly what it's going to be. So let's go to Texas first here, gentlemen. We do know Texas is away and home teams now. You're going to be at Arkansas, Florida. You're going to have that home at one point, and Georgia at home. This is 2024 schedule, by the way. So at Arkansas, Florida at home, Georgia at home, Kentucky at home, and Mississippi State at home. But you will be going on the road to play A&M and on the road to play Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
But you do get Oklahoma, of course, that neutral site game. Keep in mind, we also know that in 2024, Texas does have Michigan scheduled as a road game in 2024, along with UTSA as well.
Correct. And Colorado State. Colorado State.
Yeah. You're at home against Colorado State and UTSA, but you got a road game against Michigan. So basically throw that road game against Michigan up to 2. And by the way, the UTSA game, that's tough too.
Well, hopefully Frank Harris will be gone by then.
He may find another year, man.
And Texas has to add one more because SEC went to that 8-game instead of 9-game, correct?
Yes, they
so
would have
there's
to
still
add another
one more that
out
will
there.
be at.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what they'll do. Yeah, I mean, they could go FBS. They could go Total Cupcake. Not
they
sure
could go Rice again or one of those teams that they've done multiple times.
Yep. They get UTEP, somebody like that. Yeah, somebody in the family system of schools for them. So they could go a number of ways with that one. Good point, Patrick. So, guys, there you go. At Arkansas. So your road games, to repeat, you're going to be on the road versus Michigan. You're at Arkansas. You're at A&M. Shout out to the Aggies. You got your way. Hey, Aggies, good
we let
for
you have it. We gave it to you guys. CDC, good job giving it to the Aggies.
By the way, I got an email just now.
Go ahead.
It said that Texas announced the home game will be against ULM on September 21st. So that'll be the other team that they add in there.
There you go.
So ULM will be the other school that they play.
All right, so we basically know the schedule.
We know the schedule now.
We know the schedule now for 2024 for Texas. Just to reiterate before we dig deep, and we'll get into this Oklahoma schedule too. You will have your non-conference games at home against Colorado State and UTSA. You're on the road at Michigan, and you're saying the ULM game. Do we know
September 21st? And it's going to be a home game.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So and you'll have ULM as well. And you said ULM or ULL?
ULM. Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, so I'll make sure.
Yep.
Okay. And then of course now with the SEC schedule, your home games for Texas are going to be, and it's exciting, sexy matchups at home. You get Florida, you get Georgia, you get Kentucky, and you get Mississippi State.
I'm always been a fan of watching Florida Gators play football, and the fact too that we get a chance to watch them here on our field. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, that's not going to be an easy schedule.
No,
period.
not at all.
It's going to be a treacherous track, but it's going to be extremely rewarding to college football fans and to Longhorn fans. We just haven't had big marquee matchups at Texas. And we usually get one in the non-conference. They've been really good about trying to schedule that one in the non-conference, but now you're going to have multiple matchups like that in DKR. That's really exciting for the foreseeable future while you are in the SEC. Oklahoma, just really quickly, I think they got maybe a tougher schedule than Texas. This depends on how these teams pan out, but they got Alabama at home. They got Tennessee at home and South Carolina at home. Of course, they'll play Texas in a neutral site in the Texas OU game. They'll go on the road and play Auburn, LSU on the road too. That's tough. Ole Miss on the road. That ain't easy. And they got Missouri on the road. So they got their own problems to deal with. For Texas, I do like the schedule for them. I mean, the road games for Texas, except there's no easy path in the SEC. But Texas A&M, which we expected, which Chip Brown reported for us 24/7 earlier. You're a Vanderbilt on the road. I'll take all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Means a trip to Nashville.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
And Arkansas, at least you have some recent experience there as a coaching staff. All the players will probably be gone by then, but at least you have as a coaching staff, you know what to prepare. You know how to prepare, I should say, your players and what to prepare them for. because it's going to be Vietnam, as they like to call it. It's going to be crazy. So I kind of the road schedule for me, and of course your neutral site game with Oklahoma. It's not as treacherous as I thought. At least you get Georgia at home, you get Florida at home.
Yeah.
You got to go on the road and play Michigan too. I should throw that out there and put that on there, but that's non-con.
But it's still Michigan.
It's still Michigan. No,
still Michigan.
Yeah, so that's Texas is done with the cupcake schedule. Everybody is.
Look at Alabama's schedule: Auburn, Georgia, Missouri, South Carolina. But they're going to play Georgia, so that's good. LSU, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Vandy.
I mean, they got some. Got some heavy hitters on there.
Yeah, they do.
Georgia, your Auburn rivalry game will be tough. LSU, Brian Kelly's doing a really good job at LSU, and we don't know what Tennessee, is going to do yet with Hooker gone. I don't know what Tennessee.
I mean, it's a system.
Become.
It's a hypo system.
It
so
is.
He may be able to plug somebody else in there. I mean, they weren't as good without him when he got injured, but you have a whole offseason to kind of build around somebody. So.
Yeah. And they lost Jalen Hyde to the receiver for them as well. But they've been recruiting really, really well.
Yes, they've done a really good job.
All right, gentlemen. So thoughts about the 2024 SEC schedule for Texas?
We playing for the championship. That's a really good schedule, and it's going to be tough, but that's what you expect. They weren't going to do Texas any favors going into a new conference. They wanted you to work your way into it, and then you could get a cupcake schedule like Alabama's had over the years. Just kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. But you sit there and you look at how everything just kind of played out, and you expect a lot to happen. It's going to be something Coach Sark has been talking about. He's trying to get his team ready to go to the SEC. Well, button up your chin straps, folks, because we're headed there, and it is going to be a gauntlet.
We don't have the Aggies schedule just yet, I don't think. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it
yet.
Okay, so when the Aggies schedule come up, we'll go through that one a
They
little
did
bit
us
as well.
first.
They did both of the newcomers first. They did
yeah.
the newcomers. I think because there's been more discussion about what the Texas and Oklahoma schedule is going to look like. It's a big topic of conversation. But I'll say I am excited for the future of the road games for Texas fans this season, or at least 2024, I should say, the season we're talking about. You'll have that Michigan game. That's really sexy to go to Ann Arbor. But, other than that, I don't know if initially it's going to – I mean, you go to Aggieland. Aggieland is not necessarily a sexy location, but you're going against your rivals, so it'll be fun. It'll be a fun road trip. But I can't wait for all the road trips to places like, Florida and to Georgia. Hell, even Ole Miss. I can't wait for Texas fans to start going to spots like that. That is going to be extremely, cool and uncomfortable, by the way.
For sure.
Situation for Texas fans. They haven't been indoctrinated. They haven't been baptized in the SEC fandom, and I'm sure all the fans are classy, but they are a different breed of fan.
Oh yeah, it's going to be totally different now.
They
like to get it in.
They're a lot wilder than the Big 12 fans.
For sure.
So I wondered that'll be it's kind of a show shock to Texas fans out there too. But man, it's going to be a really sexy future schedule for Texas almost every year. You're going to have these big time blue bloods coming to DKR.
Man, I can't wait.
It's been a while since.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be. I know it's going to be a challenge. I don't know, for Texas about this season, if how much of that momentum from this season. Hopefully, momentum from this season. We're all expecting big things. They're going to be able to carry over to that 2024 SEC schedule. But there is no question. This now will help you recruit a ton. Now
No doubt.
You even got your opponents now that you're going to be playing.
You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to play Georgia at home. You get to play Florida at home. That's going to be really cool.
Let me ask you this. This is just something that's different because I don't think it's ever happened. Your Texas and OU, when they play each other, they have the same opponents this year. 0-8 same opponents.
Right.
So when you're playing each other now, is there this different kind of view where you have to prepare somewhat differently because you can't go, we both did the same thing against K-State, or we both did. You're going into that game now you're playing teams that we have never played before. Like, we haven't never played against these coaches or whoever. Does that change it a little bit? Because there used to be a little bit more of a gauge going into that game of like, oh, man, this really matters.
Yeah.
So it still clearly really matters, but just the way it was this season where there's no basis for it before or after of any mutual opponents.
That's a great point. Man, it has to play a factor because that's usually you get 3 or 4 of those in the season, especially within the conference.
Well, the Big 12 throughout the season, you play everyone else in the Big 12 up until this season. You had 8. You had what? 8 same opponents.
You play. Yeah.
So you had 8 games the same. You were going from 8 to next year probably being 6 or so, 5 or 6, because now you'll add in a few more guys in the Big 12 to 0. And you just play each other of mutual opponents. It's just an interesting thing to look at in this rivalry because I think it changes the trash talking some too, because you can't go, oh well, we dominated Tech and you guys barely beat them. There's none of that because you just go, yeah, we played completely different teams.
Yeah, no, I think you make a good point. I'm not sure if that's advantageous or disadvantageous to Texas. I really couldn't tell you which one it would be, but you're right. It's definitely going to be a factor because in the prep and the film study and the game planning, I'm sure like opponents is where they start a lot of their study, especially when they play an opponent that you've played or they have someone on their schedule that you're familiar with. So yeah, you're right. I actually couldn't tell you if it's going to be a huge advantage or a disadvantage, but definitely going to be a factor. No question.
For sure.
That's an adjustment. I didn't even think about that, Patrick, but you're right. That's going to be a hell of an adjustment coming from the Big 12 where you play everybody.
Well, it's a brand new look for everybody that's involved because not only that, other teams don't have film on you either.
You know what I'm saying? It could work out great for Texas.
It can be great.
It could be
but
great.
But they know what Sark brings to the table.
But I think that's it makes it more like a bowl game where you're playing a team and you go, well, we know what they do, but, look at I don't know if this team that they're playing against, that their coverage is different. So now I have to do research on their coverage, and even though we're not playing them this year, so we figure out how they're beating it.
Pretty much, you have to find teams who have like concepts to you and similar concepts, and then run similar coverages and fronts. Yeah, I think it's gonna make the job even a little bit tougher. In terms of film study and game planning, no doubt about it. And that's part of the SEC, right? Everything's going to be tougher.
Yeah, everything is going to be tougher.
To the factor that Patrick just brought up, the film study is going to be tougher. The athletic the athletic prowess overall of the conference, that jumps up a different level. The physicality jumps up a different level. The chess match within the game, matching wits with the coach, all of that increases exponentially. And Texas only got one season. They got to get themselves ready for that huge, kind of shell shock of playing at a higher level of college football. So I think Texas is on a right track, though. Texas is on the perfect track. Remember, Sark has been building this team for the SEC culture. He wants big humans inside. He wants fast humans on the outside. That's the SEC in a nutshell.
Yep.
There's big, giant humans on the inside, the fastest, twitchiest humans on the outside, and then find yourself an NFL quarterback. That's Sark. He's done.
He's done everything he needed to do.
Everything's
he checked all the boxes.
And when I say everything seems to be checked off the list and checked the boxes for Sark, it's just Sark.
Yeah.
Are you ready to check off your boxes to go, all right, I am ready to be a championship coach? He says this team looks like his Sark team, his team. It talks like a Sark team, plays like a Sark team, runs like a Sark team. Is a Sark team a championship team? So we know the team is a Sark team now. But is Sark a championship coach? That is the question that lingers as Texas waits for their SEC season.